and that's what you come in with when you're in that multiple situation, or you know it's a hot property. And Kurt, the guy that bid on this property, you know, both of us agreed, hey, the number that we came with right away was as high as we could go, and he could still make 25 because that's his number. And everybody has their number, but you know, there's a lot of effort into, typically a renovation is 6 months. I build in 6 months of carrying costs, and you're gonna, if you can sell that property, because if you think about it, if you buy it and you fix it up in 30 days, marketing time in this area is at least 30 to 60 days, and then you have a FHA buyer coming in, another 30 to 45 days. So you're already at 4.5 months, right? And then as you get closer to 6 months, you got to start thinking, now what am I going to do? Actually, you know, on the front end, you have plan B, but so people that say, hey, I'm flipping houses, it takes 6 months. So you got to build that into the deal and kind of figure it out from there. So be systematized, persistent, and consistent. I know it's a mouthful, but have a system. You know, for investing, I go out once a week and I have a list of REO properties that I'm going to go look at, either for me or for investors that I'm working with, and do it on a consistent basis. You know, and then let you or your investors know, hey, if this thing looks good, I got to take the offer now. I have my pre-approval, or if I have a private lender, I have proof of funds, and it's got to go in now. And consistently doing it. You might have to bid on 10 or 12 properties before you get one. You might have to bid on 20 properties. So just being out there, staying consistent, having a system, and just keep on doing what you're doing. It's a total different game than representing Mr. and Mrs. Smith over here on Main Street when they're selling their 3-bedroom, 2-bath, that you get the stager in there and you do the virtual tour. And that's great, I love that. I love having that as an income stream, but this is something that can really, well, both things can. You can build a team in Keller Williams, you can go to the 7th level, you can have a team that's doing, you know, $1 million a year in commissions. But I feel, for me, what I'm passionate about is buying and selling real estate, and buying real estate that I can hold, that'll spit off that cash flow, that'll create that lifestyle that we talked about. So that's about all I had. Do you guys have any questions or comments or anything you want to ask or talk about? We've got a few minutes for questions. Anybody?
Have you brought any properties to private auction, like a Kiko or something like that?
I haven't done that. I know I see those popping up all over now with all the bank loans. I think what they're doing a lot now is they're taking them in blocks to the auctions, and usually there's a reserve number there. So it's either absolute or reserve, and you have to make sure, because with an absolute, it's truly, there's no number. You can just go in and the highest bidder gets it, but you know, at the that's absolute. The reserve, they have a number that they have to hit. And I don't know a whole lot about that, but just do some research. That might be an area to get a good deal. I see a lot of inner city properties on those. I don't know if you've looked at the list at all, but if there's something in your area. The other thing that's happening now, people are buying REOs in bulk. They'll buy 50 or 100 or 200 properties for a lender, and then they're out there selling them individually. On LinkedIn, I'm on some of those groups where I'm meeting these guys, because I thought, well, that's maybe one thing I want to do, and that's another thing, you know, buying notes, buying bulk REOs. There's all kinds of things out there. You just have to decide, hey, and with social media, Facebook and stuff like that, and LinkedIn, there's people all over the country that are doing all these different things. And once again, I'm a real estate investor. I'm looking to buy, you know, bulk 100 REOs in bulk, and you just get out there, and you know, I would have somebody that can back you up financially, but whatever you want to do, you just have to, you know, kind of figure it out, and there's a lot of stuff out there. So, anybody else?
George, private money, I guess you said it's the one, you said a lot of it out there, one and two. Aren't there like SEC regulations about that?
Yeah, there are regulations on private lending, and I actually have a friend that worked at Equity Trust for about 7 years. There's qualified and non-qualified transactions, and it is regulated. In other words, if you took I think it's 5 people or more and brought them in on a deal, you have to be careful with that. But basically, if you're buying a single-family home, it's a commercial transaction and you're using somebody's IRA, it's pretty simple. It's not, you know, rocket science, but consult with, you know, somebody that has worked with self-directed IRAs. When you start bringing in a lot of people and mingling funds, that's when you got to be concerned. He was asking about SEC regulations for investing. And what I know is when you group people's money together, you have to be careful. Yeah, you start borrowing money from 3 different sources. You can take cash in an IRA and buy a property. My clients have done that. I've done that. That's a good question, though. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a CPA. That's the disclaimer at the bottom of the page. That it? Anybody else? And if you guys have any questions, send me an email, or you want me to look at any of your deals, I will. So thanks a lot. I appreciate the time.
Thanks, Pete.
Okay.